Yo, 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 420 Kids Live Direct in effect, Oklahoma City bound to D-Town. Knowledge is key, Dirty Mac, and what's happening?
What's the business?
What's the business? We have our set of very unfortunate circumstances today. In today's episode, we got Tyre Nichols' death by 5 Memphis police officers, as well as a state of emergency issued in Georgia. Chaos going on all over the world. Let's see. Let's play y'all this quick short little video clip.
The Memphis Police Department released video clips of the deadly arrest of Tyre Nichols, a 29-year-old black man who was pulled over for suspected reckless driving on January 7th. The footage you are about to see contains disturbing images and language. This first video clip shows the moment officers pulled over and confronted Nichols.
Hey, I didn't turn your ass around. All right. On the ground. Hey, you don't do that, okay? Get on the fucking ground. Get on the ground. Okay. Tase your ass. Tase. All right, I'm on the ground. Lay down. Yes, sir. Lay down. Please stay on the ground. I'm fixing to tase you. Get on the ground. Lay down. One. Now, I'm tasing. All right, okay. Turn your bitch ass around. Break your shit. Okay, dude, damn. Turn the fuck around. Put your fucking hands behind your back. Bitch, put your hands behind your back. Okay, stop. I'm gonna knock your ass the fuck out. Okay, you guys are really doing a lot right now. Bro, lay down. I'm just trying to go home. Lay down. Man, if you don't lay down. I am on the ground. Put your hands behind your stomach. I got it. Spray. Okay. Get the fuck back. Stop. I'm not doing it. Fuck. Oh, shit.
The clip ends with Nichols fleeing the scene and officers chasing him. This next video angle is from the body cam of an officer getting out of his vehicle and running to where Nichols is pinned down.
Hey, give me your hand. You might get sprayed again. Hey, Mike, give me a hand, bro. Watch out. Give me your hand. Mom! Hey. Give me your hands. Okay, all right. Give me your fucking hands. Give me your hands. All right. Okay. All right. Huh? Hey, Mike, give me your hands, bro. Give me your hands. Watch out. Spray your ass again. Hey, give me your hands, bro. Watch out. Spray. All right. Give me your hands, bro. Oh, shit. Give me your hands. Oh, shit.
Some of the most critical video of Nichols' brutal arrest is taken from a surveillance poll camera that has no audio. CNN synced audio from a separate video that was released, an officer's body camera that fell to the ground, with the poll camera. Both videos were recording at the same time, capturing this violent scene where officers are beating.
First off, they got 5 black police officers charged. It was a couple of more officers that was involved in the beating. You can see a white officer's hand with the taser. You can hear his voice. Why do you think he wasn't brought up on charges?
Man, that's a disgusting to look at, bro. Rest in light to the man Tyre Nichols, man. Strength, wellness, mental health, wellness, and all that, man, to his family, because that's kind of hard to see with anybody's family. But I will say this looks familiar. Like, you know what I'm saying? The play looks too familiar. You know, this man saying mama on the ground. You know, George Floyd was kind of similar. You know, he screamed for his mama. Then after that came a shot that everybody had to take, that the word is a cuss word. You know what I'm saying? People can go get the shot, but it's a cuss word to say. You know, I think maybe even a stronger one is coming. I think even beyond that, I think there is a need, like when you create crime, you create a need for a presence, you know, a police presence. And, you know, in a lot of places right now, you are starting to see the same thing that happened in with George Floyd, like the protests. More police are needed, more surveillance is needed. You know what I'm saying? Create chaos to so you can bring order to it. You know what I'm saying? You create the chaos and then you bring, man, like I don't know, it looks familiar. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel it, you know, for the shock people who need shock treatment to think that stuff like this is not happening all over way more too often than you even think. And then you hear the dudes. You know, I love our natural culture. I do have a disdain for our created culture. You know what I'm saying? The created culture, the culture that comes outside of you and molds you and use money to create an image or a perverted version of you. You know, I'm at odds with. I'm at odds with it. I try to go both ways, but it's like, you know, I'm kind of at odds with it because I hear these dudes saying, you know, you down here, shut up, hoe ass nigga, like, you know what I'm saying? But if in another verse, if this was the opposite way, they probably wouldn't even do a person that wasn't that color, and they wouldn't be talking to him like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, is this the self-hate as well? Does it need to be exposed? You know, how much the self-hate is really created? Like these police mad because they not getting paid a certain wage. They have to deal with homeless people, crack. They got all this, and it's their job. Catch speeding tickets, all this, and this is your job every day. Yeah, they a lot of them do be aggravated at work. They don't know what their wife doing. It's a lot that take place with people all over the world. You know, so I just look at it like, you know, it could be a lot of things, man, but it looks familiar. You know, I just had to say that part. You know, it looks familiar. You know, if you want to turn the world, turn people against each other, a certain kind of, there's all kind of narratives you can spin to do that right now. All kind of narratives, but you know, it looks familiar. I don't know, man. People better watch these distractions. You know, it might be something you probably need to be preparing for something way bigger than what you actually looking at. But, you know, you got to deal with the smoke screen.
You got to deal with the smoke screen, man. I appreciate that insight, man, because that is real disturbing. Seeing these officers, black officers at that, on a black man, a young black man. I don't know how true this is, but I'm receiving more information about the dude was sleeping with one of the officers' wives. I seen that earlier. So then they beating the man. Then he's on the ground. Y'all got him detained. He's getting up, fleeing, obstructing justice because you're down there beating him to death. He was trying to flee from getting beat to death. So man, this is unfortunate circumstances. Like I said, it's happening all too often. And this time, they will be held to the full accountability of the law because they're black. You hear me? You know, they got murder too. Yeah, it's personal too. If that was, you know, like I said, and viewers and opinions reflect the event individual and not the assembly as a whole. So viewer discretion is advised. We just showed y'all that violent video that the man getting beat out like that. So man, it's crazy. But I'm wondering why is the white officers not charged? The white officer, the one who pulled out the taser, he was involved just like the rest of them. But we know why he's not getting charged, though. It's 4 more officers involved. And their picture isn't on the news, every news station across the country. So that makes me further believe about what color what color they are. You hear me? There's 4 more officers involved.
What did the white officer go after he tased him when the beating was going on? Where was he at then?
He was right there. He said, "Get on the ground." You could tell his voice. You can see his hand right there. These are some highly melanated brothers. You hear me?
Yeah, no,
You see
I
that?
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you heard them when they said a black whatever they said at the beginning, bro. I'm like, ooh, man, it just make me get a certain way because it's like you so much more. And not only is you calling yourself that, you allowing somebody else to, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh man, like it's just the vibration of it, man. It's like it's difficult, but you be right about that, man. It'd be difficult to get 33 other million people to say y'all are not black. You're not a color. It's difficult to get.
They automatically not gonna download it, because like I said, unfortunately, that's what they categorize us as. So I agree with that. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, but they can download this self-hatred. The self-hatred. I agree. The media, everything else tells you to hate yourself. But there got to be something in you somewhere you just survived up until this point to say, man, I love myself. It got to be something. Something got to click to you to say, like, nah, I love myself. You're not going to make me believe, be like Eve. You're not going to make me believe whatever you choose to make me believe. At a certain point, it for surely has to be that somewhere. It has to be something somewhere to be like, hey, man, we ain't gonna jump this dude like we on the street. Yeah, man, he might have messed with your wife, whatever. We not in the club though, bro. Like these not bouncers versus in the club, and the boy in the club, he didn't strike one of the bouncers. Y'all supposed to be protecting and serving. This is it could be easily looked at a racial thing, but it's not a racial thing, especially if that's true, bro. Where it end up being about the boy, he's messing with some officer's wife or something like that, then yeah, that's like personal. That for surely is like that's out the window. That's all of it. Like they threw their own self away. But whoever was tasing him, that person, yeah, he needs to be held accountable too. Like if you didn't stop it, if you didn't stop it, you supposed to be in the middle of that shit. Like, so
you're an accomplice. You was there. Yeah.
My partner was telling me the other day, he was saying he was somewhere at a club where two girls was fighting like dogs, and all these dudes around, just standing up. They just watching them. They laughing. Wow. They going for blow. They going for
pay-per-view. It's pay-per-view.
Yeah. They watch.
You don't got to pay for this one. Violence is a part of the culture.
It's a part of the culture. He said, pop out. He like, oh, nah, man, and no other wouldn't be going on. He jumped out. He jumped in between them. He said one of them hit him so hard, like his hand was swollen. They caught him too, just trying to get in the mix. She wasn't trying, but however which way, he the only man out there that broke these women up, from being a certain way. And then we wonder why certain women of our culture carry themselves a certain, why they are a certain way, bro. 20 men to sit around and watch two women fight like dogs. Name me another culture where this type of stuff takes place. You know what I'm saying? And these is our youth. And then we really like, oh, it's okay, man. It's that, nah, man, we didn't make this the way it is. There's a such thing as finally saying, okay, look, I understand everything we've been through. I understand what people tell you've been through versus what you really went through. Like you falling from a certain place and then taking the place you fall into and holding on that more than you hold on to your whole past is something different. Man, we're not what we've been through. But I say this, I think this whole thing is a big distraction. I think it's a huge distraction. And if everybody, if everybody take the bait, man, I say it's time for elevation. Like, it's time to elevate.
And this is the thing about this, man, with the narrative being portrayed or the indoctrinations in the media, this is the programming of the self-hate. You'll hear terms like black on black crime. You don't hear white on white crime. You don't hear brown on brown crime. So they'll point our differences out and make them bigger to instill a self-hate image. You hear me? So every time we see our culture on TV or stuff that we're claiming that is our culture, when it's not our culture, we're ashamed of our culture actually because it's been demonized. So we identify as Americans. With that being said, that's our first problem. If you ask me, we are not Americans, although we are the indigenous people to this land. But we see this happen here, and we think this can only happen to criminals. This man wasn't a criminal. He's a skateboarder. He's, he hadn't committed a crime. There was no reckless driving. They pulled him over and beat the brakes off him. Now he's dead. You hear me? And we think this can't happen to you. This is a problem that's not going to be solved until it's at your front door. But at that time, the war's at your door, so it's already too late. You know, the people of African Americans that we currently call blacks or African Americans, we have an identity crisis to this day. We'll say we don't know who we are, but we don't know who we are. We've been stripped from our culture. So what? No wonder we hate ourselves. Look who's teaching us. Look who's teaching us. So when we run around, what's up, nigga? What's up, nigga? What's up, nigga? We heard it so much, we thought that's our name. It's embedded into our culture, which this is not our culture. This is English. You hear me? So we're basically blacks or African Americans, people with no identity. We have a crisis. So we accept the white man's identity, the Arab identity. You see this in Christianity and Islam, where we praise the Eurocentric image of God. In Arab, it's the same one. In Islam, where's the images of God that people that look like you? They say the Bible says this. Okay, well, you're not fighting for that image and you accepted these lies. So once you accept this indoctrination of self-hatred, we'll always see us as the enemy and not the real problem. You know, the blue laws, these are black people this time, black police officers. So, man, what's going on, man? It's militias being formed all across America, man. Whether we pay attention, we need to stay watching the news and staying in tune with what's going on, because this type of stuff happens every day. Every day. That's my little piece on it. Moving on to this next video article, man. Let's go on to this next video article. They're at the state of emergency in Atlanta. See, this happened in Memphis, and it's a state of an emergency in Atlanta. So like you said, it's secret entities controlling this. We keep falling for the same thing.
Since we are staying on top of breaking news, Governor Brian Kemp has declared a state of emergency for the next 2 weeks.
11 Align's Faith Jesse joins us live in the studio to explain why and what this means for you and your family.
Jennifer and Ron, according to the order, this state of emergency comes after some violent protests last weekend. The protests stem from tensions between law enforcement and protesters against the creation of a new Atlanta public safety training site in DeKalb County. Investigators say Manuel Pais was killed by law enforcement last week after they say Pais shot a state trooper. It happened while trying to clear the site of protesters. Then, during a protest in response over the weekend, some downtown Atlanta businesses were damaged. An Atlanta police car was set on fire. 6 people were arrested. And part of the state of emergency gives the governor authority to call up 1,000 National Guard troops if it's warranted. If called upon, the Guard can arrest or apprehend any persons causing danger to life or property and to maintain the peace. And we've actually reached out to the National Guard, which says it has not yet received orders. There are some concerns that there could be protests after police in Memphis released footage tied to the death of a 29-year-old man who died in police custody.
Yeah, Tyre Nichols died in police custody. Like I said, this type of stuff happens every day. Had he not died in custody, we wouldn't even hear about the story. Had he not died in police custody, because they took him to the hospital because they we messed up. We beat him to death. We don't need him dying because he was in our custody. You hear me? So the police check him into the hospital for being illegally detained. And then his family, now we have this all over again. So this secret narrative that's being portrayed. Man, give me some insight on it, man.
When I watched the news clip, I didn't see no protesters. You know, I didn't see no protesters. And then they said after they released the police footage, they feel like it could be more protests. So you bringing in the National Guard, all these police presence for something that hasn't even happened. It could happen. Predictive programming. Like, hey, bro, all I can say is, if you're not able to see the play, if whoever doesn't see the play, like you have to watch the movements of what's taking place around you. What is the news telling you this about to happen? They're not talking about, no, shit is predicated. Like everything that you hear is pre-planned. The same news that we hear here, people hearing overseas in other different places. It's predictive programming. So if it's, if people think that it is just by a sign or chance that this man is laying down calling for his mama, I'm telling you, look, they use people, they know we high in energy, very high. Your melanin in the way it connects, it's not a racial thing. This is a real thing, though. The way it connects, there is so much tied to this earth and this vibration that we have that's actually tied to actually who you are. See, we think and look at it like, oh, they just don't want me to know who me am. They just don't want me to know, so I'm going to try to, but I'm really not going to try to figure out because I'm so baptized in the hatred. I'm so baptized in everything they done told me about me. I really think that it's true. You know what I'm saying? I think I was a slave. I came from a slave. We learned how to read. We had to learn a different language, a different culture. So now we just like water. Whatever they pour you into America, you're American. Nope, you're not American. You're African American. Like, oh no, you're black. Whatever cup you pour, I'm blood. I'm Crip. I'm GD. Whatever cup they pour you into, you become the cup. You know what I'm saying? Like, you more like water. You're more like God. If you realize what you really are, you will see how flexible you are. But no, they have stuck you in this image where you think, I'm a real nigga. I'm a bad bitch. All of these different labels, and we can't see actually that words have power. The same type way I can say, what's up, God? What's up, goddess? What's up, king? What's up, queen? How you doing? And really not have no intentions behind it. The movement that you make behind it, people will feel like it's so profound. They would want to follow, but they'll say something to slight you or make it seem like you were saying that to do this or that. Yeah, whatever they really thinking about doing, your intention straight. Like, hey, man, it's time to build something that actually works. That actually works. We done did everything else that didn't work. Like, we got to be real. We got to be solid, this and that, man. If somebody took something, you did something, get that shit straight. Whatever it is, your problem, small, get it straight. Or look, we can do it from a distance. There ain't no bad intentions, no bad will, whatever. Okay. Man, you got to see people, see in the way you test people in this world. Like, we see the Tyre Nichols, we see this thing happen. I say we're not gonna make light of this man's life and say, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. I'm not gonna do none of that. But exactly what I'm saying is this: it looks familiar. It looks very familiar. If some other things happen behind this, is no doubt about it. 1 + 1 = 2 in my eyes. Everybody, you design to see things how you see it. But I say with the upgrading police presence, I say with the censorship of people, I say with everything that you see going around you right now, you better take heed. Because I think it's more than what people. No, hey, man, it is what it is.
It is what it is. What I say, it's a flip side to the coin with the indoctrinations. You hear me? Because why their only obligation is maintaining the master to slave relationship. Here, to me, my perception, there's also this false sense of freedom. It's an illusion of freedom. You're free now. You hear me? Now you're free. And what is freedom? No, it's like I tell people all the time. The Civil War, first off, they said Civil War, so that means it's a war on civilians. But the narrative that they'll portray, oh, we're freeing the black people. No, they're making everybody slaves. You hear me? So this monetary system, you know, and people are always quick to say about this heart, I don't know. So without this narrative being portrayed with his sacrifice, you hear me, him being dead, we would have never known about this altercation. We would have never known about Tyre Nichols. No, so I say that's unfortunate that this is why I a lot of the times we be discussing the rap music, right? And we straddle the fence on issues and we agree and disagree. But I say that's why the story is so important, that their vote counts. Your vote is your voice of total empowerment. See, like I said, had this not happened, we would have never known about this beating of Tyre Nichols, and we'll be acting like we're in this different place, like this isn't happening anymore. Like they're not killing black people for nothing, just for being powerless. You hear me? And we got us doing it as well. And that's some unfortunate circumstances, but the narrative that's being portrayed with the black on black crime, you'll see the difference when we do it. You hear me? You'll see the difference in the prosecutions now that it's 5 black police officers. You'll see. Hey, I bet you they all get more than 5 years. And they already calling it murder too. When that usually happens, it's called manslaughter. You hear me? So man, I said that, and then they said they had no reason to stop the man. And they had to shine a light on it, and it's unfortunate, but it's death, but it's a secret narrative being portrayed, fascism going on, big bank take little bank, all the small businesses, they can't withstand these protests, you hear me? No parking, no people coming in the doors, they finna start pushing this is worse than the heroin epidemic, man. Heroin addicts wasn't shoving needles in your arm, you hear me? For real, man. This is the state we in right now. You hear me? Heroin addicts is not shoving needles in your arm, but you got your friends and family. It's unfortunate to say this about people who don't do nothing pertaining to physical health. You hear me? But they're scared. They're scare tactics, fear tactics that they're pushing. So if you don't take this shot or whatever, everybody's thinking it's being controlled. That's where I was going with it, bro. You hear me? We're under this free thinking thing. You hear me? This is thoughts aren't free. That's my piece.
Thoughts are not free. Thoughts are not free. Thoughts are costing a whole lot right now.
Yeah.
Man, you know, and you have a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, man, rest in light, like to Tyre Nichols' family, gone but never forgotten. Overstand that person is not there in a physical form, but they still hover around you. Brother, damn near somewhat take it to church, I would almost say. Yeah, brother, the simple part of it, to say the least, there is no simple part of it. There is no simple part of it, but man, I say it's deep. I say as far as that man's soul, his family, all of that, that's a deep situation. I do not know how this feels, but I say once again, the play. What are the chances that a disease somewhat would be hovering? You know, he said it's worse than the heroin epidemic. There's still a force to do something, and you have seen people falling. You never seen people just dropping dead. They doing a speech. Damn, what happened to them? We don't know. Cardiac arrest. You know what I'm saying? Like, We see this happening, but you still see people saying, hey, go do this. You need to do this. To go to work, you need to do this. Like everybody's saying this, but yet and still we see people getting prosecuted for herbs, but herbs being legal somewhere else. But then somebody else get prosecuted, no herbs here, but yeah, there's herbs here. No mushrooms here, but there's mushrooms here. But then you see the fentanyl, people dropping. You see all these different designer pharmaceutical took this, but things from the earth are considered bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, so you never know which way up and down, what type of seesaw we on with this. But I say, man, that situation looked terrible that we seen tonight. I would never say anything different to George Floyd, all of the things that they put out here. But I know how much really takes place that we don't see. Now, I got hella childhood and high school and schoolhood friends that are no longer here. They left in tragic ways. I'm talking about too many to count. So, you know, if the media get up and say this, and I don't say, man, rest in peace, Mike Check Courtney, that died back to back, 2 days straight. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom. Like, there's so many people that you can just go on and name if we speak on this and that as people live and live on. So, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, these stories will continue, but if we let these stories detract you from what's really taking place around you, I say, man, hold your head up, like stay on your square, you know, every which way you go, because yeah, you never know. This is a different, you know, it's a different world.
Hey,
In closing.
Hey man, we appreciate y'all pulling up, messing with us. Y'all could have been anywhere else, but y'all here messing with us. Peace, gods and goddesses.